there's never going to be enough money. We need to find stranded assets and redeploy them. It's always about using waste. It's always about finding something that nobody else wants and figuring out how to use it to fix a problem. I think now that older people want to retire, let's use that. That's a stranded asset. We can take advantage of that.
I just thought I'd chime in on exactly that point. I mean, it's one of the major environmental challenges that we face all around the country is literally hundreds of millions of tons of coal ash that is deposited usually in groundwater and often flooding into surface water near old coal-fired power plants. Hundreds of millions of tons of it, and it's highly toxic. It has heavy metals in it. One of the programs we're working with is that it turns out that you can recycle coal ash and substitute it in the making of concrete, substitute it for Portland cement. And a ton of coal ash recycled into concrete saves a ton of carbon dioxide emissions. It's a ton for ton. And so, we're looking for ways to incentivize that, to try to subsidize it, because we need something to do with hundreds of millions of tons of coal ash that are polluting the environment. And it turns out that it's a huge climate benefit. It's a stranded asset. It's a waste, but it could reduce. And of course, concrete production, as you guys know, is about 10% of global emissions of carbon dioxide. It's huge. It's almost as big as transportation. And they don't, so I do think that I hear this conversation and I worry about it leaving people feeling like it's hopeless. I don't think it's hopeless. I do think that we're going to face an inevitable level of change in the biodiversity and in the environment around us because of climate change. That's already built in to some extent. But I think there's an awful lot we can do to moderate that and to steer the earth, as you were saying. So I'm still an optimist.
We need to think sideways. We need to look at how to connect the dots.
I think a lot of this points to Jim's point about where is the education, the requirements in high schools and below, but also in colleges, because we need some of those guys to be working on it fast. The people I know who are in their late 20s and 30s who are engineers or finance people, or this is the kind of stuff they're working on all the time. But they did have an education that suggested to them that this is a problem. So I think it's worth emphasizing as what Jim said about trying to make sure that your local community colleges and high schools and universities and lower and K through 12 really talk to kids about climate change and how real it is, because there are plenty of people in Western states, at least, and I'm sure others, that still say it doesn't happen. It doesn't exist.
And I think your comment brings up something we've repeated over and over, that these issues go right down to the local level, to boards of education and things that need to focus on the education of the children in their district, in their state, in their county, and even at the national level. We can't avoid that.